Alright, this is Russ Hardy with Fieldpiece Instruments, and we're going to show you the SVG3 vacuum gauge. This is our brand new vacuum gauge. This guy is just a really simple creature. It's just a purely vacuum gauge, measures microns, has a couple alarm settings, and it's just super tough. And the new case for it has a rubberized case that you can kind of, make sure it grips. And then the hook on it is a little bit different than we've ever done before, anything that you've ever seen. It's built with our strap, so similar to the way our magnets are on some of our meters, but also has a hook just because it's going to be hanging, a lot of pounds of hoses sometimes up on the system. And then it just folds easily right back. So we'll show you how it hangs on a bottle of refrigerant here in a minute when we go in, or an empty tank when we go and pull a vacuum. So let's just check out the buttons and a couple of the features. So again, this is really dirt simple. There's not many buttons. You notice the blue button. It's a little bit different look. And what this is the power button. It also is the light button. So first I'm going to turn it on. And then you can just tap it to turn the light on. Tap it to turn the light off. And then hold it down for a couple seconds to turn it off. Then we have the alarm and enter button on the right hand side. The alarm is just to set your high and low alarms. So we have two different alarms in the SVG3. First, the low alarm, and it's indicated right here with the little low on the screen. And this is defaulted to 500. Use the arrows to adjust it, and we'll just keep it at 500 for now. And then cycle through and set the high alarm. And the same thing, just cycle through each digit, and you can change them with the up and down arrows. And so what those alarms for is when you're pulling down a vacuum and you hit 500, the lower alarm will go off. Then you isolate the system, turn off the vacuum pump, and see if it creeps up past 1,000 in about 5 minutes. That's pretty much industry standard, and so that way you can tell that you have a deep vacuum and have fixed all the leaks in the system if it passes that test. And so what we're going to do now is actually hook it up to a vacuum pump. So let's get it going. Now before we start our evacuation, what I want to show you is just the hook, how the hook works. So you'll notice that it's, it's a strap, like I said before, and then you'll notice when I hang from it, it kind of tilts up. And when you hang it on a system, it tilts up like that. So you're always it's always looking up at you. Usually this is going to be lower than your eyesight, and so you want that hook looking up at you. A lot of the other vacuum gauges with the stiff hooks, you'll notice that they point down like that, and so you have to really either grab it and point it up or just bend down to actually see it. So this is one little thing we thought about to make sure that you can more easily see your micron reading while it's just hanging on the system. So anyways, what we're going to do is I got a setup behind me, got a recovery tank, and this is already pulled in vacuum just to make this video a little bit shorter. And I got a TES 8 Appion vacuum pump. So I got that set up to the red side. We're just going to simulate this as our system. So this would be the high side and the low side. And I'm just going to pull a vacuum through just the high side. I got two black vacuum rated hoses. You always want to make sure that you use vacuum rated hoses instead of just your standard red, yellow, and blue hoses while doing a vacuum. These will just help you out. They're not going to leak, and it's just a little bit more efficient way to pull a vacuum. So what I'm going to do is first I'll show you a couple different ways the SVG3 hooks up to the system. So it comes with a T-fitting right here. You see the T-fitting with a cap. And so this is for a couple reasons. If you want to do it in line, just like this, it makes the SVG3 really easy. Just attach it to the T in line. And hang it just like that. So that's one way to do it. Our preferred way is to actually use a core removal tool. And Appion also makes a really nice core removal tool. Let me just get this off and get my my cap back on so I don't lose my vacuum when I open up the recovery tank. So this is a core removal tool. It's just a really simple tool. You can see that it, it's a hollow tool all the way through. If I open up the valve, you can see right through it. And what this does is it includes a ball valve. It also goes right to the service port of the system. So I'm going to remove my hose, attach the core removal tool, And so what you would do is remove the core of the schrader and then attach this so you can get an even faster vacuum pull. Okay, attach that. Okay, and then hook up your hose directly to the core removal tool. So go straight through. And then where the vacuum gauge goes is right to this port on the side. Alright, and there we go. And in my opinion, that's just the cleanest way to pull a vacuum. So what we'll do is, I already have this pulled down. So what I'm going to do is first turn on my pump so I don't lose my vacuum. Then I'm going to open up the valve. Now you notice it's at about 800. What I want to show you is the alarm function. And so it should go down to 500 rather quickly, just because I already had it low. And so what the timer is doing is that on my upper screen, I have 700 microns. My lower screen, I have a timer. This is just telling me how long it actually takes to pull down that vacuum. You know, this would normally take about half an hour or 20 minutes to completely get this tank down. And depending on the size of the system, you'll want to know that time. So the time will let you know how long it actually took to get down to that level. What we'll do is we'll just let this pull down to 500, and we'll come back right when it's about at 500. Alright, now you can see that we're about 502 microns. That took about 10 minutes to get down that far. It's always the last few that take a long time. Then our alarm went off. Now it's hovering, so now we have 498. So this is what the alarm sounds like when you hit the low alarm. Same thing for the high alarm. But what we're going to do is now time for the high alarm. And I'm going to isolate the system by using my valve. Now you notice right when I hit the valve, it jumped up to like 700, or now it's stable at 550 about. That's just because there's little air pockets within the valve. And so you can open it and close it a couple times. And you're always going to lose a little bit just on that valve. And the only thing I'm changing is the valve. And you'll just notice the microns kind of jump up. So, and that's okay. It jumped up almost 100 microns. That is okay. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn off my vacuum pump. And so you can see that the valve held and it's stable and it's rising really slowly. So we're probably not going to get up to 1,000 anytime soon. One way to check on that is press the alarm button to get into normal mode, and you can see this little indicator at the bottom. It's basically saying it's rising about 8 microns per minute. So you can see that just based on that rate, it's going to take a really long time for it to get up to 1,000, which is good. That's a good thing. Now, if it was rising up fast, you'd be able to easily see it with both the level of microns. You can just see it rising fast, or the rate calculator. Just a little bit, little tool that makes it a little bit easier on you. And that is the Fieldpiece SVG3. It's available now. Find it at your local distributor.